Hey everyone, if you're returning from Tash Talks, thanks for sticking around. I've been crazy busy with work and studies for the past 2 years, and so I stopped YouTube to focus on getting through university. That being said, all the comments since 2018 inspired me to get started up again, even though I am still studying, God help me, so content will be a bit slow. I'm wanting to get 2 5-minute videos, although this one is a bit longer, out a week to remain a bit consistent. From now, I'm going to go by Rabbit, based off my game persona. Please share and subscribe. I will love you all and give you all carrots. Let's get into the video. Recently, I wrote a paper on immersion and eliciting fear in virtual reality. This got me thinking about mainstream video games and what kind of games really create that feeling of being immersed. When writing and researching the paper, I concluded that the feeling of immersion is most prevalent when exposed to realism, graphical fidelity, strong narrative themes, and well-designed virtual environments. So I want to talk about 3 core subjects. How do we define immersion? What games lead to the feeling of being the most immersed? And why I think immersion should contribute to review scores more. The latter 2 are of course my personal opinions, but I will make a case for them by providing enough evidence to sway those who think the games I chose are not immersive. Immersion is a broad term. When you think of the term, you think, I feel like I'm in the virtual world, I am part of the character's experiences, I am the character, i.e. external factors such as ambient noise, sounds, and the physical real world around you feel suppressed and unnoticed. Kind of like when your parents used to call for dinner and you just chose not to hear them. It is a little bit more complicated. Back in the day, or the 90s rather, Mel Slater, who is considered the forefather of modern virtual reality, defined 2 terms that describe the sensation. The first was presence. Presence felt in the virtual world was related to the subjective senses activated by the hippocampus in the brain. It is that of feeling like you're really there and is influenced by your past experiences in life, memories, and learning. Factors in video games that increase presence are simply software-related technologies such as graphical fidelity, how real textures look, how dense and realistic environments are, how smooth animations look, or how good the story is. Immersion is the other term. Immersion, however, according to Slater, is defined as the objective experience of the simulation or the video game. This is the same across the board for everyone and is related to the hardware of the experience. Well, it would be the same if everyone had the same computer, but that's not the point. The question is, if someone was running Red Dead Redemption 2 at ultra settings and native 4K, then would their level of immersion be exactly the same as someone else? Yes it would. But what about the level of presence? That would be immensely different. So an easy way to remember these terms is, presence is the feeling of being there, defined by software. Immersion can provide a sense of presence and is defined by hardware. So basically, software versus hardware. For the purposes of this discussion, I define immersion to be both the subjective experience, so different across the board for everyone, of the video game, but it is restricted by the hardware limitations of the system. So basically, I want to combine both terms and just call it immersion. So what games do it best? Well, the 2 that I am choosing are definitely going to be Red Dead Redemption 2 on the PC though, and Battlefield 5, also on the PC. Now there are a lot more out there, but I think these 2 represent 2 distinct spectrums of design that illustrate my point the best. Red Dead Redemption 2 is the latest and greatest game developed by our friends Rockstar Games. We know them because A, they develop games actually worth their price, and B, they developed hardcore open worlds that have extreme levels of detail. Red Dead 2 is no different. I stand by my word and will for a long time when I say that Red Dead 2 is the most goddamn immersive game on this planet. And it comes down to 3 factors: world design, graphics, and animation. Now off the bat, I know some of you will testify that Red Dead 2 is so immersive that it can come at the expense of entertainment. That is fair, yes, when you ride for ages and ages, and you need to cock your gun every time you fire, and you need to every goddamn time wait for the animation to pick up a nicer rifle off your horse every time you want to use it. But I promise you this, play the game at near max settings on a PC and you'll forget that you actually live in a modern world stock full of laws and technology. It is so immersive that I can argue that the mundanity of the game can be suppressed just because you take in the scenery while riding or listen to the fish hopping around in the river. And that is my first point: world design. Rockstar has created such a diverse and beautiful landscape of late 1800s or early 1900s America that is so hard not to stop and stare. From the realistic weather to the insane details of tessellation in the snow and dirt to the volumetric life shafts radiating in Saint Denis, and its mixture of ambient sounds and rivers and animals and people echoing in the valleys of West Elizabeth, this game is simply ridiculous. And I owe it to the mastery of Rockstar's proprietary game engine. Rockstar's programmers must be extremely talented because coming from a background in games development, I can tell you that developing an engine that can render draw distance as good as Red Dead 2 can be super difficult. Next we have graphics, another product of Rockstar's Rage engine. And there is no letdown here. Red Dead's near real graphics cut a fine line between immense detail and uncanny valley. Uncanny valley is a term used to describe too much realism to the point that it looks creepy, and I think Rockstar nailed that balance. Just look at these screenshots. Details of textures, hair, grass, anti-aliasing, draw distance, it all adds up to the beauty of the game and its ability to make you feel so immersed. Finally, it's those animations, man. Now, I agree that sometimes the animations can be too realistic and a little bit annoying, especially over time, but the technical finesse that goes into those animations and just the absurd amount of animation scripts, literally 300,000-ish, really heightens the immersion to unprecedented levels. This is due not only to the frequency of animations, but also the speed. For instance, you'll notice when walking around in the world, Rockstar has purposely made it slow to let the player take in the world, and it is effective. The problem is that most games won't go to this degree when developing a game, and that is simply because of time constraints. Rockstar was notorious for pushing their programmers to work too hard, but in my opinion, it paid off. The immersion here is crazy, and it is mostly due to heightened presence as a result of realism and detail. Next, we have Battlefield 5. We all know that Battlefield series is immersive due to the detail of the Frostbite engine and the battle landscapes. There is also the destructible physics, high resolution textures, and the blistering fast first-person shooter pace. We know this. What I want to discuss is their sound design and what it means to make well-edited sound. Immediately when you play Battlefield, the realism that the sounds the guns make, coupled with the saturated volume of bullet ricochets, explosions, and falling buildings really make the sound super immersive, feeling like you're actually surrounded by war. This is further heightened again by the talented artists and their ability to mix sound. After all, the motto of the actual sound designers of Battlefield is total immersion. What is lesser known is the extremities that they went to actually record the sound. They used actual World War I and World War II weapons to record the sound used in the game, edited slightly of course, and the sounds such as tossing a grenade into a river and hearing the explosion underwater. They also went out into the field and recorded sounds of guns in relevant environments, not just in the studio. They even recorded a pulse jet engine strapped to a snowmobile to get the rocket noise. Dedication to their craft? Yeah. Gameplay nuances aside, the Battlefield series represents the pinnacle of immersion in modern video gaming. Perhaps not as much as Red Dead 2 though. I'm a fishing type of guy. Now to conclude, because I've been rambling on for a moment, I know this is all great to know, but why am I talking about this? Well, immersion is often, but not always, overlooked in video game reviews. I'm looking at you, GameSpot, for Red Dead 2. Sorry, Inner Fanboy is speaking. It deserved 10 out of 10. No, I want more reviewers to consider immersion as a large factor to the score of the game. I for one believe if I am immersed, the game is great. Isn't the point of video games supposed to be entertainment and escaping from reality after all? You know, I really hope I helped you guys understand immersion a bit more, and the next time you feel immersed, don't be afraid to just take in the virtual world around you, and you never know, at the rate VR is going, it could become our real world. Thanks for watching everyone, I really enjoyed making this one, and let me know what you think, and please do not hesitate to subscribe. Thanks everyone, hope you enjoyed.